What's going on, all? Thanks for tuning in. Open chat. Let's see if anyone pulls up. Let's hear your take. Will we finally see this fight? Deontay Wilder versus Anthony Joshua. Is the fight too late? That's another question. I got my coffee here today. What's going on, Bud Fowles? Thanks for tuning in. Got my coffee here. Let's see if any of the boxing public tunes in today. Let's talk boxing. Let's talk this fight in December, Saudi Arabia. I've been waiting a long time for this fight. I've got to be perfectly honest. I think everyone has as well. Two heavy hitters going at it. Anthony Joshua against Deontay Wilder. Who wins? That's the question. Are they past their primes? That's another question. There's only one Tyson Fury. What's going on, TFM? What's going on, Brother Hope all as well? Tyson Fury, we want to see him fight Usyk. We want to see him fight Alexander Usyk. I believe it's going to be a four-man competition in Saudi Arabia. So it's going to be AJ Wilder and Fury Usyk. Tyson Fury at the moment, he's been delaying the big fights. He hasn't been fighting the big fights. He's meant to be the champ. The champ's meant to fight the best. So, AJ versus Wilder seems like it's on par. It seems like negotiations is going ahead for December. Tyson Fury is saying that he knows nothing about it, about the December competition. So, we want to hear Fury also saying it's going ahead. These other guys that they're saying that they're going to fight each other. And hey, that will be a great contest, four of the best going up against each other. 2-fight deal. Fury versus Usyk. Wilder versus AJ. Now the Wilder versus AJ, what's going on, little chef? The Wilder versus AJ fight is really interesting to me because, Joshua, when he beat Klitschko, that was basically, to me anyway, the heavyweight division coming back. And then we had Wilder versus Fury, which was the year after, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. So basically, they had two big fights. Wilder versus Fury, AJ versus Klitschko. That was in 2017, 2018. That's when I started watching. That's when I started paying attention to the heavyweight division. Let's face it, the heavyweight division 10 years prior to that fight was pretty bad. Klitschko brothers didn't really put on any big shows. So now we have a fight that's 6 years later than it should have been. They should have fought each other after the Fury versus Wilder draw. That's when they should have fought each other. Now we're in a situation 6 years later. Both guys are questionable, highly questionable. Although I want to see the fight, I'm excited about the fight. What's going on, Keisha? I'm excited about the fight. You know, is it 6 years too late? That's why I say, you know, the fight seems like it's a bit too late. The fight should have happened 2019. Fury versus Wilder, when they drawed, that's when AJ beat Klitschko the year before. They should have fought each other then. Now you look at Deontay Wilder, you think, wow, you know, this guy was thinking about retirement after he lost to Fury. You know, you're thinking about Anthony Joshua, a guy that looks like he doesn't want to get hit. You know, these guys now look different. Although, you know, I'm a big heavyweight fan. Heavyweight's my lane, you know, my favourite division out of all of them. I just question, is the fight too late? Are we going to see the blockbuster that we want to see? Or are we going to just see one guy knock some other guy out within a couple of rounds, you know? Because that's the way that I see it, you know. If Anthony Joshua is too cautious, there's a strong possibility that Deontay Wilder will knock him out. What's going on, Cold-Blooded Monster? Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it. You know, smash the red button if you're new. Like Cold-Blooded saying, you know, if I got a first round KO for Wilder, you know, that's what I'm saying, you know. Prior to AJ beating Klitschko, this is 7 years later. 7 years later that we're seeing this fight. If we see it, which is rumoured at the moment. But at the moment, you know, as we see Joshua being very cautious, you know, very afraid, you could say, you know, afraid to get hit. He's talking about, listen, I want to leave the sport healthy. You know, I don't want to put my body on the line anymore. I've learned a lot throughout my career. You know, I've learned a lot throughout my career. I feel like I need a punch. I need to hit the guy, not get hit. What's going on, Blood Dragon? Thanks for tuning in. Apologise for the lag. Apologise for the lag. 7 years, that's a long time to wait to win in a match. That's what I'm saying, you know. I mean, I started watching the fight, you know, the boxing, the heavyweight boxing, you know, because I tuned out of it. 2017, when Joshua beat Klitschko, that's when I started watching. Then we had the Fury Wilder, the first fight, which was a classic. You know, it was a classic. Everyone loved that fight. The Klitschko versus AJ, Wilder versus Fury. This was 2017, 2018. So since then, it's been 7 years since they fought each other. You know, where the public's waiting for great fights, they're waiting for, you know, big blockbuster fights when they're at their best. These guys avoided each other. You know, you could say he said that. Whatever you may say, at the end of the day, you know, the fans lost. Because now we're looking at, you know, a guy that may knock out another guy within a couple of rounds. And a lot of people will disagree with me, you know, don't get me wrong here. Joshua is very skilled. Joshua now has one of the greatest trainers in his corner. Let's not forget that, okay? Joshua's got better tools than Wilder. You know, he's got a better hook than Wilder. He's got a better uppercut than Wilder. He's a better boxer than Wilder, but Wilder is a better finisher than AJ, in my opinion. You look at, you know, Dominic Brazil, you know, first round KO, clear example. Back then, Joshua used to be a guy that used to be hungry to get them out of there. Now it seems like he's afraid to get hit. He cannot be afraid to get hit in this fight. You know, I'll put it to you that way. If he's afraid to get hit in this fight, he's going to get hit. Wilder's a guy that uses his he measures him before he punches. Okay, he needs distance to knock you out. So if Joshua's thinking, listen, I've got a strong jab, I'm going to stay away, he's going to get clipped. understand that Joshua is not really a mobile fighter. You know, Joshua is not a guy that can move around and jab like a Muhammad Ali, like a Alexander Usyk. He's not that guy. He used to be a guy that comes forward. He used to be a guy that backs himself for the knockout. But it seems like he's lost that, you know. It seems like he really has. Um, I know nothing about the sport, but you make it sound kind of interesting. I mean, I'm sure everyone knows who Mike Tyson is. You know, Mike Tyson, the guy that knocks people out. You know, these guys have that as well. You know, they're knockout artists. You know, Joshua's lost that edge, in my opinion. Now it seems like he's trying to back himself off his skills. You know, he's trying to back himself off his ability to box, his ability to move, his ability to hit and not get hit. Some guys don't have that in them. I believe that Anthony Joshua is going to get hit regardless whether he likes it or not. I promise these fighters he's talking about are very, very dangerous, for sure. That's a fact, you know. Deontay Wilder, I mean, he's knocked down every person that he's fought. Every person that he's fought, he's got the highest knockout ratio in boxing history. Anthony Joshua's looking for, he's looking for, you could say, easy wins. I mean, his last fight wasn't too good, as well as Tyson Fury. You know, he's meant to be the champ. He's meant to be fighting the best. He fought Chisora, you know, a guy that no one really wanted to see him fight, a guy that they knew that he would beat. Anthony Joshua fighting Franklin, a guy that they knew that he would beat. You know, he's challenging guys that we know that he's going to beat, he's going to win. We know he's going to be victorious. Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua are looking to fight in December. The interesting part is that they're both looking for a tune-up fight in July, which is around the corner. Okay, they're looking for a tune-up fight, and Fury is that guy, the GOAT. Fury is the GOAT, you know, but at the same time, cold-blooded monster, you know, he hasn't fought. He's not fighting like the champion, you know, he's not fighting the best. What's going on, Junkin Chef? He's not fighting the fights that we want to see. You know, he fought Chisora, you know what I mean? Although Tyson Fury may be the best, in my opinion, and in many other opinions, he's not fighting like the champion. You know, the champion's meant to fight the best. You know, we never saw Muhammad Ali fight Joe Frazier and then not fight anyone else. You know, we saw him fight George Foreman. We saw him fight Larry Holmes. You know, we saw him fight everyone. Although the Holmes fight was too late, you know, he fought them all. That's what the champion's meant to do, you know, he's meant to fight the best. Tyson Fury, you know, I believe now he's looking to redeem himself. He's looking to fight Zhilei Zhang, which that will be a great fight. You know, Zhilei Zhang, a guy that just beat Joe Joyce. You could consider him to be one of the best, you know, Zhilei Zhang at the moment. So, I mean, if Fury fights Zhang right now, then you could say, listen, this guy's fighting like a champion, you know, he's fighting a guy that just beat Joyce. You know what I mean? But I mean, he fought Chisora, then he didn't want to fight Usyk for whatever reason. I believe it was money related. I think that, okay, understood. Redemption will make a difference to the fans for sure. Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. I think it was money related why Tyson Fury didn't fight Usyk. But hey, now we have supposedly, four four men fighting on one card or whatever the rumors may be in Saudi Arabia where the best will fight the best. But the thing is that Tyson Fury isn't saying anything, to reassure anyone. That's why I'm talking about this. Definitely money, no doubt. Definitely money. That's why this Saudi Arabia thing makes sense. Like maybe Usyk will fight Fury if the I mean sorry Fury will fight Usyk if the money's right. You know what I mean? That may be the case. What's going on? She stole my thunder. Thanks for tuning in. That may be the case, but rumors saying that these four guys are going to fight. You know, biggest payday of their life. Joshua Wilder, I believe, 300 million or something like that. Crazy figures, crazy figures. I mean, who knows what it will be? But I mean, if they're on the same card, it may be that. It may be that. But like I said, Tyson Fury, he's got to fight Sang next if he wants to, maintain his status. I believe he was meant to fight Ruiz. That's another great fight for him. I actually prefer the Zhang fight. I think that the Ruiz fight is good, but I just think that Fury, being taller than Ruiz, seeing what Joshua done to Ruiz, how he could just easily outbox him, I think Fury will run circles around Ruiz, in my opinion. I just think it's too much of a good movement. But like Cold Blooded Monster said, definitely money. Definitely money. I apologize for the lag of the does. I've just got a coffee with me today. And I thought I'd just jump on here, go live, you know what I mean? So Cold Blooded says that Wilder will knock him out in the first round. But I also do think that Anthony Joshua's got a chance. I know that some people may laugh at that, but I truly do believe that Joshua's got better tools than Wilder. I think that he's a better, well-rounded fighter than Wilder. I think that he's better opposition than Wilder. He's got a better resume. He may just be different against taller guys. He may just be like that against the short heavyweights. Who knows? But that being said, he should have went for the knockout against Franklin. There should have been no excuses for him to knock out Franklin. Franklin was a guy that had 50-60% knockout ratio. A guy that couldn't hit that hard. Joshua went in there saying, "Listen, I'm going to knock this guy out. If I don't, I'll walk away." He couldn't set up the knockout punch. Joshua, a guy that now depends on single punches. He depends on one punch power. But he doesn't have one punch power knockout ability like Wilder does. You know what I mean? Joshua is a guy that puts you down with combinations. He's a guy that breaks you down. He's a guy that knocks you out by breaking you. Sure, he's put guys down in the past with one punch, but not in the devastating fashion that Wilder does it. Wilder's backing himself out with one shot. Joshua, blessed in both hands. Please punch it with both hands. What's going on, Backlash? Thanks for stopping in. I appreciate it. What's going on, Patrick? Thanks for stopping in. You know, Joshua, blessed with both hands, doesn't have that ability to just take a guy out with one punch. And he's not understanding that, you know, he's not understanding that he's not that guy, you know, he's saying, listen, I'm going to knock this guy out. Franklin, which was like I said, 60% knockout ratio, and he was trying to do it with one punch. That's literally what he relied on, was one hit. Canelo looked good in beating Vara. Canelo's, you know, great. Canelo, he looked really good for sure. You know, Vara, you got to take your hat off to Vara. I thought he put up a phenomenal performance. You know, he fought on with a broken nose, blood running down. He fought like a warrior. You know, he really took it to Canelo at the end. Canelo, I believe, looked good, but it's still that I'm still not impressed enough for him to beat Bivol. You know, I'm not impressed enough for him to beat Bivol. I think that he should really be happy that it's a 12-round fight, you know, if I'm perfectly honest. I think if Rada had 15 rounds, it may have been different. You know, people may laugh at that statement, but, you know, Canelo looked gassed. You know, it looks like he's just changed a bit in those later rounds. You know, it seems like he loses a bit of stamina in those later rounds. He comes out strong. But, I mean, I don't know what Canelo's going to do next. Patrick, hope you're well tonight. That's literally what he did for Lars in one hit. Yeah, that's a fact, you know, cold-blooded monsters. You know, he relied on one punch. I don't watch UFC or boxing. Thanks for tuning in anyway, Black Clash. You know, I appreciate it. Fishing channel, go check them out. Go check out all these channels, actually. I highly recommend them all. But so I'm saying Joshua does stand a challenge. You know, a lot of people are writing him off, but let's not forget the trilogy of the Wilder fight. You know, let's not forget the amount of punishment that Wilder took in that trilogy. You know, both guys are now looking to have a fight in July. So they got a mega fight lined up in December, which is looking very promising. You know, it's looking like it's going to go ahead. I know, listen, you know, they should have fought in 2019 when they were back both on the top. Both of them, you know, proved themselves. AJ beating Klitschko, Fury drew with Fury. You know, they both had the perfect opportunity in 2019, and maybe 6 years late. But, you know, it's looking very promising for December. But keep in mind, you know, both of these guys want to fight now. They both want to have a tune-up fight. Wilder may fight someone and get chin. You know, let's not forget the beating of the Fury fight. You know, he took a lot of punishment. He took a hell of a beating from Fury. A hell of a beating. And he's a guy that he can't move like Fury where he can't get hit. You know, Wilder's a guy that looks like he's losing every run until he clips you. You know what I mean? So, I mean, another question is, should they just wait for December? I think it's important for them to stay active, but at the same time, I really do question Wilder's chin. I do question his punch resistance after that Fury beating in the trilogy. You know, let's not forget Wilder was going to walk away after that last fight. Hello Matthew, it's Fury fighting Ruiz. Fury's looking to fight Zhang at the moment, Patrick. I should say that he's looking to fight either Zhang or Ruiz. So they're the two front runners. So it's either Zhang or Ruiz. And I take my hat off to Fury if he fights Zhang. You know, I think that Zhang is a danger to the heavyweight division. A real danger. A big southpaw with a big punch is trouble. And Zhang being a tall guy, you know, I think it's going to be hard for Fury to get away from that left hand. because he's got a puncher's chance for sure. He's also got stamina problems, but I just don't think that Ruiz has a chance against Fury. Much of a chance, I should say. I just think that Fury, being too much of a great boxer against these short heavyweights, it's hard to really catch him. It's hard to catch him. I mean, you look at the Dillian White fight, it looked like White didn't belong there. Let's be serious. We've been watching Dillian White float in the top 3, top 4, begging for a title shot, mandatory, mandatory position, complaining about, listen, I've been here for 300 days, whatever the case was. When he fought Fury, that put everything to bed. He made him look terrible. Fury made Dillian White look like a total amateur in that fight. And no disrespect to White, but I mean, I just think that Ruiz's head movement's not good enough for Fury. I just think that Fury will find him too easily, keep him away. That's true, but Fury is serious business. Fury is serious business, yeah, for sure. So Fury's looking to fight. So I'll say all of them are basically looking to fight in July. Tyson Fury's looking to fight either Ruiz or Zhang. Deontay Wilder. I'm not sure what he's doing. I believe Patrick was saying that he got locked up or whatever the case was. He got arrested. I'm not sure what's happening with him. Anthony Joshua was looking for a fight in July. So all of them are looking to stay busy before the December fight. But it's quite crazy. It's quite crazy that the Wilder versus Ruiz fight didn't go ahead. That was ordered. And it just shows that these high-profile heavyweights really have a lot of control. If it's an ordered fight, they should have been to purse split. You know what I mean? It should have been to purse split. The fight should have happened. It's an ordered fight that should have happened. Zhang's fight, Zhang does have a punching chance for sure. Working slavery as we speak. Cartagena. Now, thanks for stopping in. TFM, I appreciate it, man. Thanks for listening. Appreciate the share, Chuba chat. Thank you. TFM, always has great insight of the sport. Great channel as well. Check them out. But yeah, that's what I was saying. These guys, they have a lot of control here. Even with Zhang, Sile Zhang, Joe Joyce had a rematch clause against Fury. Let's not forget who's managing them all. Okay, Joe Joyce, Tyson Fury, Frank Warren is managing both of them. Okay, so he's got complete control of that fight. I'm not sure what's happening with Dubois and Usyk, but I understand that Herkovic is next in line. I'm not sure, I'm not really sure what's happening with that. But let's get straight to the main discussion of who wins that fight. Yeah, that's interesting for sure. Cold blooded monsters. I mean, it's interesting because when the fight gets ordered, you got to fight each other. You know what I mean? Deontay Wilder, let's not forget his last fight was last year. Now he's sitting on top, ranked number 1 with the IBF. WBA, sorry, my apologies. WBA and the WBC, you know what I mean? We need the Saudis to make the undisputed happen. AJ versus Wilder on the card for sure. And there's huge rumors of this fight happening. Like I said, TFM, when you came in, you said, listen, there's only one Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury is saying, listen, we don't know if it's going to happen. Joshua and Wilder saying it's going ahead. or I should say Joshua confirmed that it's going ahead. So who knows where Tyson Fury's head is. I do know that he wants to fight. And like Patrick said, it's either Weeze or maybe Andy Ruiz, but also Zhilei Zhang's in the front run. But that's an interesting fight. What's going on Alyssa's Adventures? Thanks for tuning in. That's an interesting fight as well. Zhang versus Fury. I like that one a lot. But don't write off Anthony Joshua. I know that he didn't look too good. I know he didn't look too good in the last fight. But I mean, he clearly outboxed Franklin. People want to see him knock people out, but I mean, he clearly outboxed them. You know what I mean? Look at how Dillian White struggled against Franklin, where I thought Franklin actually won. You know what I mean? So, I mean, Joshua's still a top heavyweight. He may not be able to beat Usyk. He may not be able to beat Fury or Wilder, but I mean, he's still top heavyweight. I believe that he has the tools to beat all of them, but he just can't put it together. I just think that he doesn't back himself enough. I think that he's got an excellent left hook, great uppercut, but you just don't see that from him anymore. You don't see the combinations, you don't see the flurries. It's gone. You don't see it anymore. And that's why I'm saying, this fight may just be too late. This fight may just be too late for both. I have to see what Deontay Wilder's punch resistance is like, before I make any assumptions. I mean, Wilder got the 1-round KO, knocked out, he knocked that guy out easily. He is definitely a good fighter. Who are you picking if the AJ Wilder fight does go ahead? I'll have to watch a tune-up TFM. I'll have to see who Wilder fights next. I believe he wants another fight. Hellenius, that's the name. My apologies. So yeah, he did knock out Hellenius. Took me a while because I need to sip on my coffee more. But grab a coffee for sure. Grab a coffee, join in for the talk. Appreciate you guys all here. I really do. I'll have to watch Wilder's next fight. TFM. I've learned a few things this evening between you and Google. Now, for sure, get into the boxing. Google does have all the answers, they're saying. But I mean, tune into this channel and you'll get a full breakdown of the fighters, of the fights. My opinion, all to their own. So going back to what TFM saying, I'll have to watch Wilder get punched. I'll have to see if he can still take the punishment like he did against Ortiz. Because let's face it, Tyson Fury did knock him out. Went 11 rounds, basically getting battered. Before that, he went 7 rounds getting battered. Let's not even mention the allegations, you know what I mean? Let's not even get into that. So, I mean, AJ could just punch him and knock him out, that's what I'm saying, he may just not be able to take punches anymore. And I think that Joshua, I haven't seen Joshua or Wilder actually get knocked out clean where they can't get back up with one punch. So they're both, although you can question their punch resistance, they both have a lot of heart. Wilder went out on his shield for sure in the trilogy. That's why a lot of people respect him. It was a good thing that he had that third fight. Watch Wilder's knockouts for sure. Also watch AJ's knockouts, Keisha. Watch both of the knockouts. Like I say, in 2017 and 18, both of those guys looked unbeatable until Tyson Fury came back. Before Alexander Usyk stepped into the picture. But I'm sure that a lot of people are really hoping that Tyson Fury does fight Zhang. Nobody wants to fight a big puncher like Zhang on a southpaw position. Who do you guys see winning? I know Cold Blooded Monster says Wilder's going to win by KO. I believe that Wilder will be the favorite for sure. I believe Wilder will be the favorite for sure. But yeah, hell of a fight on the weekend as well. I didn't see the whole thing, but I just did see the highlights. Canelo versus Ryder. I like that fight because of the heart that Ryder showed. It definitely showed a lot of heart. I think that, I think if Joshua wants to beat Wilder, he definitely needs to take it to Wilder. He needs to stay on Wilder's weak side. He needs to stay on Wilder's left side. He needs to get in a position where he can hit Wilder inside mid-range, inside close range, I should say. Wilder's shown now that he can shorten his punch. So he's got to really get inside the pocket, deep inside the pocket. And really take it to Wilder. He's got to understand, listen, this guy's going to hit me. I know it's going to come. But he also has to understand that Deontay Wilder's only a two-punch combination man. He doesn't really punch guys. He doesn't really throw combinations to put a guy down. Like I said, he relies on the one punch, usually in a two-punch combination. So, if Wilder's thrown a two-punch combination, Joshua's going to have to roll the punch, partially take it, keep his hand up, move to the left side, and then rush Wilder after that. He's got to wait for Wilder to first throw the punch a couple of times. He's got to show that he can take the punch. My apologies. He's got to roll the punch. He's got to show Wilder, listen, I'm not too hesitant of the punch. Apologise for that, guys. But chesty today. But he's got to have to take it to Wilder. At the moment, I'm picking Wilder to win. I just think that Joshua doesn't look like he backs himself enough. AJ is the better boxer, so I think he wins unless he gets caught with the right hand, which I believe he will. That's the thing. If the fight was in 2019, I don't think I'll be favouring Wilder. I'll call it a 50-50 fight. Or I'll even favour Joshua. So, Joshua just looks too hesitant. The right hand's going to catch him. And I just hope that he's not standing there to take it. So I think that's the problem, people think I can take the right hand. Tyson Fury said it himself. He was out cold in the first fight. He was out cold. And that's when he thought he could take the punch. That's when he thought he could take the punch. We're not cold. Although he got back up, Joshua can't afford to just take the punch and think that he can handle it. Wilder's shown that he's knockout artist in boxing. AJ's going down in the first round. Cold-blooded Monster's been saying that throughout the whole chat. Shout out to Cold-blooded Monsters. Like CFM says, Joshua's the better boxer. He's got the better tools. As long as he can stay away from that right hand. And the thing is that Wilder's actually learned how to shorten it, which is a problem. If you look at the Lanius fight, where it looks like a lot of people thought, okay, it was a dive, he didn't fully extend that punch, I don't believe it was a dive myself, I think that he just clipped him. Look back on the Fury versus Wilder trilogy, the second knockdown I should say. Wilder drops him, Fury gets back up, looks very hurt. Second knockdown, he looks very hurt. That's another short right hand. So Fury made sure that Wilder was on a funny angle where you couldn't hit him with the right hand properly. He made sure that stayed to Wilder's shoulder, his left shoulder, and just smothered him. Gave him a beating. AJ's got the better tools. I'm putting my money on the Wilder knockout. That's Cold-blooded Monsters. That may be the fact, that may be true. I think Wilder will be a favourite for the knockout as well from the public. So but let's not forget that Derek James is in Joshua's corner. Let's not forget that. Let's not forget Errol Spence and the ability to throw 3-punch combinations and hurt a guy. You see, if Joshua can avoid that right hand and throw meaningful combinations deep inside the pocket, we may see him drop Wilder. Again, I question Wilder's punch resistance. Wilder was looking to walk out of the sport. He got a statue, now he's all of a sudden he wants to come back. I believe that Deontay Wilder didn't want to fight Ruiz. I may be wrong. I just think that he wants to fight Joshua. AJ needs to approach that fight the way Fury did. Steam forward and keep Wilder uncomfortable. He can beat Wilder up with the jab. For sure, he's got to get deep inside the pocket. But I do think if Wilder lands one right hand, it's game over. Okay. So, that's a problem, because Tyson Fury, what's Tyson Fury done, even in the second fight where he's saying that he steamed where he ran up to Wilder, he rolled with the punch, he showed Wilder that, listen, I'm going to take your punch, then I'm going to come forward. Wilder only throws the 2-punch combination. It's a very predictable read. So Tyson Fury's going in there. When Wilder throws, he's rolling the shot. He's not taking it with full impact. He's going backwards, taking the shot. Very smart. Joshua's going to have to do that as well. If he's jabbing him when Wilder first throws the left hand, then he throws the right, which we always see. We always see the left coming before the right. Even with the Luis Ortiz one, we saw him holding the left hand and then he threw the right, even though it was just a right shot. He was holding the left hand before he threw the right. So Joshua is in trouble because, we don't see Joshua bouncing around like Tyson Fury. Joshua's not a fast mover like Fury and Usyk. So he's got to move left and right, He's got to stay away from that right hand, but he's also got to take it. He's got to show Wilder that he can take it before he approaches him inside the pocket. Because let's face it, that's Deontay Wilder's game plan. Set up the right hand. There's nothing else to it. And because it's a straight shot, and I say it a lot if you've been following the channel, the straight shot is always going to beat the uppercut, the hook, overhand right, anything you can think of. The straight shot is always going to catch you first. It's straight down the middle. It's a very hard shot to avoid. It's a shot that's being used a lot these days from Wilder, from Tank Davis, the straight left, from Zhilei Zhang, the straight left. We have plenty of space for you here. When you're ready, I'll give you the talk guide. Okay, we see a lot of talk in the chat, which is a good thing. So, the straight shot, the straight shot, he's got to avoid that. He's got to avoid that. But he's also got to show Wilder that he can take it. It's going to come eventually. That straight right is going to land eventually. So he's got to sort of do what Tyson Fury done. Listen, I can take the punch. Once you throw that 2-punch combination, I'm going to step inside the pocket. And I'm going to do what Spencer's doing. I'm going to hit you with some meaningful shots where you're going to really feel my power. Anthony Joshua has got great power in both hands. Like I said, great hook. Look back at the Klitschko fight. Dropped him with the left hook. I don't think that Wilder could have done that. I don't think that a lot of these heavyweights could have done that. So that's a great fight. It's a great fight. Wilder versus AJ. I just hope that they don't blow it fighting somebody and then losing it all. What happens if Wilder loses his next fight? That's a question for you guys. Do you think they should wait for it, for December? Do you think they should stay busy? What's your take on that? Everyone in the chat, leave a comment on that. Do you think that they should wait for the December fight? Or do you think they should stay busy against top opposition? Let's not forget, 7 years since AJ beat Klitschko, 6 years since Fury Wilder won. Or 5 years. I may have got my maths wrong, but it's been a long time. Okay, so What's your take on that? Do you think they should fight each other in December, wait for that fight, or do you think that they should have a tune-up? I mean, I think that Fury's looking to fight Dillian White next, which I don't think is really a big risk. I don't think that Dillian White's a big risk, you know what I mean? I just don't at all. It's too easy for him to get caught with that uppercut. You know, but yeah, we still got people in here watching. I appreciate your guys' time, for sure. So I mean, I think yeah. So like I said, you know, I think that I have to see Wilder takes a few punches before I make my prediction, or before I fully back myself that that I'm making the right choice by picking Wilder to win. But I do question his punch resistance. Because like he always says, you know, he only needs to be perfect for 2 seconds. You know, he says that quite often. I only need to be perfect for 2 seconds. And he's proved that time and time again. You know, knocking guys out in the first round. So, I mean, although he's got the finisher, you know, he's got the equalizer, how's his punch resistance after the trilogy? Let's not forget now that Joshua's got a big power jab that he's been using. So don't write off AJ is all I'm saying. You know, don't write him off. Because I mean, the trilogy may have just got into Wilder. Who knows? You know, we've seen that a lot with fighters where they go in the ring, they take a beating, they don't look the same anymore. Is Wilder the same guy that we're used to seeing? Can Joshua produce the combinations that we know that he can? Because I believe both of them is going to have to show that in the fight. Obviously, unless Wilder cleans him out in the first round, which some of you are predicting. I think it'll go more than one, personally. I'll be very surprised if he knocks him out in the first round. I'll be very surprised. Derek James, like I say, is a great trainer. But it is true, you know, it is hard to avoid the straight shots. Anyone that has a straight power shot that can drop you, it's danger for the other guy, regardless of how good you are moving. Because it's a faster punch, it's going to catch you. Understand, throughout the fight, all this guy needs to do is get you in the sensor. And majority of the time he can punch you through the guard, he can punch you while your guard is up. So it's gonna be a great fight. It's a shame I wasn't in 2019. You know, when I wanted to see it. But at least we may see it. At least we may see the fight. Finally, And yeah, I mean, let's see what happens. Does Joshua and Wilder take tune-up fights before the December fight? Or they're going to take another big fight to test themselves for the big fight that we've all been waiting for? What does Fury do? Who does he fight next? Does he fight Zhang, Ruiz? So there's a lot of speculation, in the heavyweight division at the moment. The Dubois fight hasn't been finalised as well for Usyk. That hasn't been finalised. We haven't seen any contracts. We haven't really seen any movement with that fight. We just understand that that's meant to be next. So yeah, I mean, leave your take on that. Leave your take on that. Final predictions, leave it in the chat now. Drop a comment. Tuning in today. I hope everyone's well. Let's go to the cop. So we got Cold-Blooded putting money on the fight. Most of these people in here are favouring Wilder. Let's just go off that majority decision. Majority vote Wilder. But all I'm saying is AJ's got a better toolbox. Don't write him off. You never know. Okay, you never know what AJ can do. Still got 8 people in the house. Appreciate you guys all stopping in. Appreciate the thumbs up. Appreciate the support. Appreciate the sharing. And most of all, I appreciate your guys' opinions, on the fight. But yeah, other than that, I'm going to sign out. Unless, obviously, if there's anyone still in here, want to talk Canelo. If Patrick's still around, we could talk Canelo. I think Canelo, he's... Well, don't get me wrong, I do really think he's good. He's great, but it just seemed like he was... I appreciate it, I appreciate you listening in. It just seems like Canelo's fading out in the later rounds, like he did in the first bubble fight. He faded out in the later rounds. This isn't Kovalev, this isn't a guy that's gonna be there where you can hit him. This is a guy that's more mobile than ever. He's gonna be moving around. That beat you majority decision. I don't know if that's the right fight for Canelo. I would like to see him challenge Benavidez next. I think that's the fight that makes more sense to me. Yeah, check out the knockout videos for sure. That'll give you more interest in the fight. Check out Wilder and Joshua's. Both of them have great knockouts. And that's the thing. There will be a knockout in this fight. That's what makes this fight interesting as well. AJ versus Wilder. There's going to be a knockout. That's what makes heavyweight boxing always interesting, entertaining. When two guys that have 80 to 90% knockout ratios going in there to knock each other out. There's only one way that fight's going to end, so but yeah, like I say, Canelo, I want to see him fight Benavidez next at 168. I just think that he seems like he's fading out in the later rounds, and I don't think that he can do that against Bivol. But hey, If the Bivol fight happens next, I'm happy for it. I'll watch it for sure. But I'm just saying he's got to be busy in those later rounds. But that's my take on it anyway, guys. I appreciate you guys all stepping in. Me, like I said, if you want to continue talking boxing, we can go ahead. But I mean, I think people are just listening in at the moment, tuned in, listening. So I appreciate you guys sticking around for that. And most importantly, leave your comment. Leave your comment on it. Who do you think wins the fight? What happens with Canelo? All that. Leave your take on it. I always look forward to the public's take. And thank you all for tuning in. Stay blessed. Have a great day. I'll catch you all next time. Peace.